Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boscheman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the forecast for each life path number for the month of November 2025. This, of course, is a general forecast. If you would like your own personal numerology reading, please book some time with me. My information's in the description box below, and I'd love to work with you. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what November has in store. Life path number 1, you're going to be working with a vibration of the 21-3 throughout November. And this is an incredibly beautiful vibration, especially for ones to work with. So you could see a lot of rewards start to come in from some of your efforts. You could see success at this time knocking on your door. This is also an opportunity to step into new worlds. And what I mean by that is to step into new ways of doing things, to break free from, sort of the old routines or sort of the old ways of looking at things or maybe approaching things, and really kind of flexing your visionary muscle, right? That ones are so known for. This is a cycle where, again, sort of the old ways that aren't working or that aren't contributing or sort of are standing in your way of evolution start to kind of fall away, making way for the new, right? The new opportunities, the new ways of doing things, the new perspectives, the new people who will help you to achieve what you're looking to achieve or help you to build what you're looking to build. And so as the month sort of progresses, I feel like new things will be revealed to you that will help you to sort of realize or bring to fruition some of your greater plans, hopes, wishes, dreams, whatever. And so what I would say to you throughout this month is don't overlook the opportunities that come your way. It's easy for ones to kind of bypass something if it doesn't look promising enough or like it's going to meet their expectations, right? I think that's a human thing, but for ones, that sometimes that can keep you guys stuck. And so what I would say is if an opportunity presents to you this month, no matter how big or how small, take your time and explore it and try to see the potential of it as well as what it's bringing to the table right now. But don't be too quick to dismiss any opportunity that comes your way, whether it's an opportunity to work with someone, collaborate, connect with someone, again, launch something, put something out, and be seen and sort of take center stage. Someone may open a door for you this month that wouldn't have previously been opened. And my advice to you would be to go through the door and see what's on the other side and then decide if you want to work with it or not, or if it's for you. I anticipate there will likely be a lot of overcoming self-doubt this month, overcoming that lack of worthiness or lack of confidence. And it's a really good opportunity to tap into that leadership mode that ones are meant to tap into and to, again, break free from anything holding you back from taking risks, trying new things, and going for it, right? Or again, just being curious to see what's on the other side of that now open door. Plans that are already in progress, like things that you've launched, things that you have already been working on. This is a time where you could see things really start moving. You could see, again, a lot of success come from whatever this is, and a lot of rewards and recognition potentially. But you got to put yourself out there, right? Those plans that now are still sort of in the thinking stages or you're still kind of figuring it out. This is a time where I would say take the first step or take the next step in carrying that out now. And I think you'll see that the potential for success is quite high during this cycle. Now, again, it's a shorter cycle. It's a month long, but that's still significant. So you can get a lot accomplished this month, or at least get started on a lot of those bigger goals that you want to accomplish. And again, you will likely see the people, places, things present who can help you to do that. The other thing I would say is this can be sort of an emotionally charged period, emotionally taxing period. So pay attention to your emotions. Don't let your emotions, take control of you. Don't let them get out of control. Be mindful of reactivity and also impulsivity. Like I said, you don't want to give up on things too easily, but you don't want to say yes to things too quickly, especially if they seem too good to be true. So just take your time, right? There's plenty of time this month to make the decisions that feel best for you and that can help you to, again, move forward towards your greater goals. But ultimately, this is a cycle of rewards, of realizing the opportunities that are coming your way now are here to assist, to help you to achieve some of your bigger ideas or goals. So take advantage. I pulled an animal wisdom message for you all, and you got butterfly energy, and I love this. We often think of when we see butterfly energy come through, metamorphosis or change or something like that. But with this energy of the 21-3, it's more like you are the butterfly now, and like you are sort of flying through the world, right? Like you are testing out your wings. You are, figuring out what works and what doesn't. You're releasing, that old skin that doesn't work, those old ways that don't work anymore. You're releasing your identity as the caterpillar, and you're starting to understand what this new world means to you as far as being the butterfly. So I love this because it brings this energy of hope, renewal, this energy of sort of leveling up to the next step. Not even like that you're better than you were. It's just your new version of you. And so the way that you approach things may look very, very different. So yeah, take your time and get to know how to use your wings. Get used to them because they're not going anywhere. You're just kind of learning how to fly and where you want to go now that you have those wings. I hope it's a beautiful one. Take care, ones. Bye for now. Life path number 2, you are going to be working with a vibration of the 22-4. This is such a beautiful energy to move through in a cycle. This is a master number, and so it can bring some challenges, but those challenges are really meant to open you up to something much more aligned with your own energy, with what you want. It can help you to see sort of where you need to make some changes in order to move in a better direction. The 22-4 is about helping us, when it comes in a cycle, it's about helping us to get into that greater alignment to help us to build what it is that we want to build, whether it's relationships, a career, a belief system, whatever it is. It helps us to get serious about that and to take advantage of the tools available to us in order to do so. But it does require collaboration. It does require decision making. It does require putting yourself out there. This is a time where you could really be sort of pushed or feel that pull to share your expertise, to share your gifts in some way, to try something that's, again, aligned with what you've been working so hard for so long, whatever that might be. And so you could see, again, those opportunities come in for you to sort of take center stage, to share your ideas, to share your expertise. So again, like if you've been going to school for a period of time, maybe you're graduated, or maybe you've been taking some coursework to refine some of your skills, this is such a beautiful month to put yourself out there, to find the confidence and the motivation to try the thing, to do the thing, to say yes to you, right? There are people who need your expertise and your wisdom, and this month will help you to see how best to share that and what that looks like. Or again, if you want to build stronger, healthier relationships, this month will help you to see what you need to do in order to make that happen. Whatever it is that you're looking to build, this month is going to help you to do that, but you're going to have to show up and put in the effort and commitment and see it through to completion. Again, 22-4 is master energy, so it brings greater challenges, but it also brings greater rewards when we show up and we do the work. And the 22-4 is the master builder. So again, the emphasis is on foundations, your sense of security, structure, organization, getting organized, having that confidence and that leadership energy to sort of step into not only a leadership role, but maybe a teacher kind of role. And not in I'm better than and I'm trying to show you how to do it. More I'm an expert in this, whatever it might be, or I have experience in this, whatever it might be, and I'm sharing, and you can take it and do with it what you choose to do with it. But this can really help to amplify, again, this your gifts and the success that can come from sharing those gifts. Under this 22 cycle, this is an opportunity to reach your greater goals. This energy is helping you to do that, but it's going to have you overcome the obstacles that have been standing in your way, that have been keeping you from doing that. Whether it's maybe, I don't know, like an addiction, or maybe like, again, lack of confidence, or lack of motivation, whatever it is, this energy might confront you with it and sort of push you to overcome those obstacles. Now, again, because it's master level energy, it can bring in success on a huge scale, right? And it can help you to achieve what you thought was impossible to achieve. Again, you're going to have to be you're the leader here, like it doesn't happen without you type of thing. But you will likely see that people, places, things come in that will help you to not only commit to those bigger plans, but to sort of dare to take the risk in order to achieve them. This is a time where I would say, don't hold back. Think in large sweeping terms. Go to the head person with your creative ideas, as opposed to staying meek and mild or behind the shadows. This is a time to put yourself out there, even if it's uncomfortable, even if you don't want to, because it's going to show you what you're capable of, and it's going to show you that you are capable of achieving what you're looking to achieve. You might have to recognize your limitations in order to do that, and then call on the people who can help you to do that, who have the strengths where you have the limitations. But it is possible, and the 22-4 reminds us of that. Again, this is a time where people will likely seek you out for your expertise in your field, or wherever people know you to be, to have expertise in that area. And so they could likely come to you for your opinions, your advice, again, your expertise. And I would encourage you to share that, to again, not be afraid of putting yourself center stage this month. Stay practical, right? But know that you can achieve what you put your mind to. This energy is absolutely helping you to do it. Beautiful month for launches, for trying something new, for putting yourself out there. Absolutely. Again, this is your time to shine. So, take the opportunity. I pulled an animal wisdom message for you all, and you got deer energy. And I love this because deer we often think of as very like meek and mild and gentle, which they are, kind of like 2 energy. But, they're also resilient. They're going to fight for, their rights, so to speak. They will stand their ground. They will go for what they want. They're not always, again, this little meek, mild, gentle animal. Sometimes they can be more assertive. Let's put it that way. And so I do think that there is this opportunity for you to sort of heal or overcome whatever it is that's keeping you from stepping into that more assertive side, right? Especially as a 2. So you might have to overcome some of those fears of other people judging you, other people wanting something different for you, or you not meeting the expectations that you've put out for yourself or that others have put forth for you. And you can do that in a gentle way, right? But there is this energy of standing your ground, having those higher standards, and also asserting yourself when the time is right for you to do so, and not standing back in the shadows. And also, deer are typically herd animals. So you want to find your people. Again, where's your limitations? And then where are your people who have the strengths that can help you, collaborate with you, work with you, that can help you to achieve your goals. Beautiful energy here. I hope it's a beautiful month. Take care, Tees. Bye for now. Life path number 3, you all are going to be working with the vibration of the 23-5 for November. And I love this for you all because, part of, and in this equation is your energy, right? The 23-5. So there's definitely this component of helping you to shine, helping you to, again, step into your own authenticity, to share your voice, to share your creativity in a way that feels good for you. To not minimize yourself, to speak out, to collaborate, to delegate, to ask for the help that you need, all of these things, right? To not sort of stay in the shadows and try to figure it out on your own. This is an energy that reminds you that you are a social butterfly. You are meant to collaborate and share and connect with others in a way that can help to create or build something that is going to be quite useful, not only for you, but for others as well. And with the 5 energy, it's interesting because, I love when the 3s work with 5 energy, and I love when the 5s work with 3 energy, because it can be really fun. It can bring in like this expansiveness, this openness. You can kind of let your hair down if you choose to, right? I mean, you always have free will. But with the 5 energy coming through for you all this month, it's that reminder to live life to the fullest, to get, everything out of it that you can, to experience life with all your senses, to not take things so seriously. With 5 energy, fives typically don't love rules. They don't love things that are too strict or rigid. 5s like to feel that sense of freedom. They like the wind in their hair, so to speak. And so, this is a time where I would say you might be pushed to think outside the box, but really think outside the box, right? We say that a lot, and I mean, that's such a 5 characteristic. But really, this month might push you further outside of maybe what you thought was possible, maybe what you had envisioned for yourself or your career or your relationships. And it's just that reminder to not take it too serious, to go with the flow and to see what life brings you and then decide how you want to dance with it. But it's also that energy of, I'm not telling you to break the rules, but I'm just saying maybe take a look at where it is that there is rigidity or restriction within your life that doesn't need to be there and that's actually making your life more difficult. And it can be self-imposed, or it can be through what you take on, or it can be what life throws at you. But where is it that there is this sort of almost like claustrophobic type of energy that's keeping you from fully expressing, fully saying yes to what you want to say yes to, saying no to what you want to say no to, and showing up in a way that feels good and aligned, right? And I'm not saying like throw obligations out the window with this energy, with this 5, because 5, when we move through a 5 cycle, we can certainly go to extremes very quickly. So I would say all things in moderation and keep your head about you. But it's just this energy to make sure that you're making time for fun, enjoyment. Again, what lights you up, what brings you joy, what brings you happiness, and what makes you feel most free, right? Where in your life do you feel overly restricted, overly burdened, overly just like a wet blanket has been thrown on you? This energy is helping you to make the shifts necessary if you choose to take those opportunities to break free from that, right? And it might be uncomfortable when you're doing it or when you're figuring it out, but it's going to feel so much better when you're on the other side of it. And that's kind of what the 5 energy always looks to do, to shake up where there needs to be a shakeup, to release what needs to be released that's keeping us overly restricted, or from progressing or evolving, or again, just running freely in the meadow, right? So yeah, really beautiful energy here. And there's also like this kind of divine protection with this energy because it's 23/5. So there's kind of like, you could see like if things become too burdensome or too difficult, like the magic kind of happen where there's like this divine intervention that comes in to alleviate or release you from whatever it is that's making you feel restricted or that feels too heavy. So yeah, don't fight those protective forces that are around you that are helping to guide you sort of into safer ports, right? Pay attention to the messaging that you get, the downloads, the intuitive hits, and honor the way that you feel. Listen to your body. I would definitely say that this energy is going to help you to see what changes might need to be made that will help you to feel more free and that will help you to pursue your goals, but in a healthy way. And that will likely be very successful under this energy. Yeah, really beautiful. I would also say, obviously, because there's 5 energy, the opportunity here for change or transformation is quite significant. So yeah, just kind of go with the flow, see where the tide takes you, knowing that you can always sort of regain control. You can always put your oar back in the water and kind of shift and move in the direction you want to move if it's drastically different than where you're going. But yeah, I would say do the things, make the time and the space this month for social events, getting together with others, art, creativity that doesn't necessarily have a purpose. That's just bringing you fulfillment and enjoyment in the process of doing. I pulled an animal wisdom message for you, and this is so aligned. You've got raccoon energy, and raccoons, they can be quite assertive. They can stand their ground. They can get the job done, so to speak. But there's also like a curiosity, a playfulness, a like, I don't give a shit kind of attitude a little bit with raccoons. They're just gonna be curious. They're gonna, try everything. And if they like it, great. If they don't, great. There's, they just move on to the next thing. There's a playfulness. There's a unbotheredness to raccoon energy. And I would say you might need to kind of adopt that this month, that feeling of unbotheredness and not letting things get to you too deeply that don't really matter in the long term. But at the same time, be curious and explore new things and try new things and let yourself, just be unconventional for a little while without worrying about, doing it right. Let's put it that way. So I hope it's a great month. It can certainly be quite a fun month if you let it be. Take care, threes. Bye for now. Life path number 4, you all are going to be working with the vibration of the 24/6 for November. And this kind of brings about your magnetic personality. So this is a time where you could be attracting people coming, into your life who want to help you, who want to assist you. It could also be romantic. The 24/6 is a very strong love vibration. And so you could be connecting with people at this time who are just going to be really good, collaborators who can help you to achieve your goals. Or you could be attracting a lifelong partner, a new friend, a pet is also possible under this energy. But it's a very highly favorable period for relationships, and relationships that will likely stand the test of time and will be in your life for quite some time. It's a helpful kind of energy that helps you to achieve your goals. And I would also say, because it's a 6 cycle, family, home life, again, those deeper connections are in the spotlight. So when we move through a 6 cycle, a lot of times it can bring to the surface things that need to be addressed, right? Things that need to be discussed, and those conversations need to be had. And I always when someone moves through a 6 cycle, I always say it's kind of like the elephant coming into the room, and you've got to find a way to get the elephant out of the room. And usually that's through having the conversation, having the difficult conversation, addressing what needs to be addressed, and not sort of continuing to put it under the carpet, to hide it away or to avoid it. So you could see that come up, especially with close relationships or family matters, that just need your attention. Something may need your attention, so give it the TLC that it needs. And it could also be you, maybe you need some support, or maybe you need to take a break or delegate, or, get rid of some of the burden that maybe you've been carrying. And you might need to ask for the support in order to do that. And so this is such a beautiful time to make that happen, which can be really hard for 4s sometimes. 4s tend to be a very hyper independent energy, very solution focused, very much I can do it myself type of thing. And this month might, life might intervene to show you where you do need help, where you do need support, and where you need to not only ask for it, but then receive it. And you don't have to do it all alone. And really, in this lifetime, you're not meant to do it all alone. You're meant to ask for that help and that assistance and collaborate and share ideas to do it together. I would also say with this, you could gain quite financially with the help of other people. Again, this cycle might be a little uncomfortable for 4s because it's about, again, connecting with other people, seeking out the help from other people, accepting help from other people. And that can kind of go against the grain of what the 4 typically wants to do. So it can be a little bit uncomfortable, but I think what you'll find is that it's going to open you up to finding ways to achieve the things you want to achieve, whether that's a healthier connection or a relationship or healthier belief systems or something to do with your career or something like that. You're likely going to find that you're going to have to lean on others or ask for assistance or receive support in order to make those dreams come true. So yeah, but ultimately this is a cycle of harvest, right? Reaping what you've sown. And, fours, you're always doing the work. So this could be a time again where financially you could stand to gain significantly, whether it's through business dealings or previous efforts. That's very, very possible under this cycle. If that's the case, then I would also say make sure that you acknowledge the people who helped you to get there, because someone's always helping us along the way, whether we recognize it or not. So if you see great success come in for you around this month, make sure that you acknowledge the people who helped you to get there in some way or other. I would also say, because this is a 6 vibration, also coupled with a 2 and the 4, this could be a time that feels very like raw or sensitive when it comes to certain feelings and emotions, yours or other people's or family members. And I would say this is a time where you're going to have to set down your pride and set down that need to be right or the stubbornness, and be open to what people are saying and what they're, how they're sharing and how they're expressing their feelings about something. Because you might find yourself in a position where you can actually help to bring greater healing to the situation, whether it's through sharing your wisdom or, again, just being very generous and helpful and patient with those around you and with yourself as well. And if you can do that, and of course you can, then you'll open yourself up to a side of yourself that maybe you didn't even know was there, and you will see the rewards come back tenfold. So really beautiful energy here. The other thing I would say, especially because you're a 4, and your energy, our energy, I'm also a 4, is in this equation, right? 2, 4, 6. So there's something here foundational. And so this month gives you an opportunity to build that stronger foundation through your efforts and through your actions. And it could help you dive more deeply into your emotions and to heal some of those deeper emotions that maybe you haven't been dealing with from the past, or from maybe things that have harmed you recently. This is an opportunity to go a little bit deeper into those emotions. I pulled an animal wisdom message for you all, and you got hawk energy. And I love this because, there's obviously assertiveness when it comes to hawk energy. There's precision. There's that hawk eye where, they can see from a greater perspective and very clearly. So there could be like clarity that comes in for you around this month, especially as it has to do with home and family and relationships. And again, your foundation, your own personal emotions, the emotions of others. So that clarity is very, very possible. And then of course, it's what you do with that clarity that makes the difference. But really with hawk energy, what's coming through is that need for graceful persistence, right? It's beautiful to persevere. And as a 4, you're going to have to continue to do that in life and put in the effort. But have grace for yourself and others along the way. Don't be afraid of asking for the support that you need and receiving it. Don't be afraid of doing things differently, thinking outside the box, trying something new. You don't always have to be right, and you don't always have to know the right way of doing it. Is there a right way of doing it? Who knows? If the job gets done, then it's done, right? And it's done right. So there's something here with hawk energy coming through that's reminding you persistence is wonderful and you're going to need it, but make sure you've got that just as much grace to go along with it for yourself and for others. And that will help you to connect and collaborate in a way that will help you to work smarter, not harder. So I hope it's a beautiful one. Take care, 4s. Bye for now. Life path number 5. So you're going to be working with a vibration of the 25-7. This energy has your energy within it, right? 25-7. Possibly at the beginning of the month, you could kind of have to move through some obstacles, overcome some hurdles, kind of figure some things out that might be difficult to kind of maneuver your way through, but there is a way through it, and you'll just have to kind of be persistent and, use your ingenuity, call in some support to help you to figure out what needs to be done in order to either fix whatever this is or kind of manage it or move through it, right? That in a way where you can kind of move on to the next thing. It could be in a relationship or with a career or something going on with you that needs to kind of, again, be overcome or understood better maybe in order to manage it. But, I feel like you'll make your way through it and figure it out. And as the month progresses, you'll be able to go sort of full force ahead into your creative project, or again, whatever it is that at the beginning of the month, there might have been some hurdles. I think towards the middle of the month, towards the end of the month, you'll be well beyond those and on your way to creating the environment you want to see. But again, at the beginning of the month, it's that kind of energy where it's like, you're going to have to kind of pull from your energy reserves, right, to help you to figure out what's needed in order to manage this or overcome it. But it's that energy that also promises, yeah, you can do this. You can make it through it. You can figure it out. And once you do, then you'll reap the rewards of that, right? You'll understand kind of why you had to move through it, why that obstacle was there, and it will actually serve some kind of a purpose in your journey forward. It's that kind of energy that says you can have whatever you want, but it's not going to be handed to you. You've got to do the work to get it. And I think a lot of that work is going to be towards the beginning of the month, figuring out what's needed and kind of how to approach whatever this is in order to persevere and move through it and ultimately be successful in that journey. This is also a time where I would say this month, pay attention to your mental chatter, pay attention to, those thoughts or those beliefs that you sort of say yes to or cling to and believe, because, our thoughts, our beliefs, what we say yes to, those drive our actions, and the actions drive the results. And so this month especially, I would say just be really mindful of what you believe when it comes to the mental chatter. I'm not saying, be positive all the time, right? But I do think this month you're going to have to tap into those resources that will help you to maintain your optimism, your idealism, and that positivity, right? Not everything is kind of put before you as a challenge to deter you. Sometimes it's put before you to help you to figure out what's needed or to help you to uncover something about yourself that you wouldn't have been able to discover if you hadn't moved through the challenge or the hurdle that was needed in order to show you very clearly, yes, you're capable of doing this. Yes, you can have this. But there were some things that were needed along the way. So pay attention to your own personal stories that you're creating in your mind, your belief systems, your thought patterns, and what you believe and what you say yes to from those. Again, I'm not saying you have to be positive all the time. I'm just saying, deconstruct those thought patterns that are kind of holding you back, or that are tearing down your confidence, or that are keeping you in a loop of I'm not worthy, I'm not capable, etc. Or I'll never find love, or I'll never, whatever the storyline is that you have on repeat. This is a month that's going to have you go a little bit more deeply into that and deconstruct it and bring it back to the present to see what you're actually working with. And that's going to help you to move beyond that negativity that's kind of keeping you stuck. Be careful about, and this is a big one for my fives, be careful about impulsivity or hasty actions, right? Things could present this month that seem too good to be true. And I would just say do your due diligence to make sure that what you're saying yes to, what you're investing your time and energy into feels good, feels right. If you're getting those spidey senses that says something's off, something's not right, it's too good to be true. I'm not saying that it is. I'm saying just do your due diligence to make sure that you are, just making sure that everything is legit. The other thing I would say is if an opportunity comes up for some kind of significant change, like in your residence or some kind of new job or something like that, this could be really significant in your life. So and it's probably going to be quite aligned with what you want to see. So, I mean, again, do your due diligence, make sure that you are curious and you explore and make sure that everything feels good, but with the information that you have. But this is that kind of energy where I would say moderation is going to be key this month. So it'd be very easy to fall into the extremes. So just make sure that you are taking your time, doing your research, and when you say yes, that it feels good. And if it doesn't work out, that you're not going to be completely derailed because you, again, threw the baby out with the bathwater type of thing, right? So yeah, but you could see some significant changes in your living situations or your personal circumstances this month. Opportunities for travel could come up this month. Pay attention to any health concerns that come up this month. Get them addressed. Make sure you get them taken care of. Don't let them go because they could turn into something a little bit more chronic and you just don't want that to happen. So pay attention to things that come up. Pay attention to your body this month. Pay attention to your holistic sense of self. So body, mind, spirit. If something's coming in, it feels off, it doesn't feel good, whatever, address it. I pulled an animal wisdom message for you all, and you've got cat energy. And this is interesting because it's bringing in this element of like independence, but also like owning your space and, not having shame around that, speaking up for yourself, going after what you want, finding your confidence, right? Like what's more confident than a cat? You are your own best advocate, so speak up for yourself. Don't be afraid of saying yes to the thing if it feels right. There is definitely something here. Again, you don't have to do it alone, but this is an energy of learning to trust yourself and overcome any of those fears that you might have for being as authentic and true to yourself as you can be. It doesn't mean you have to be alone, right? There's definitely independence within interdependency, but there's this energy here of helping you to remember who you are and what you're capable of. And that's powerful. So embrace that as much as possible this month. All right, fives, take care. Bye for now. Life path number 6, you all are going to be working with the vibration of the 26-8. So of course your energy is in this equation with the 6, right? 26-8. This is an interesting energy because it does bring in the element of karma and kind of reaping what we have sown. And so you could see, some really rewarding things come in this month. Some things that feel like they're very divinely guided. They're like gifts from the universe type of thing. But you could also see some partnerships or contracts that could be broken at this time, or some kind of loss could occur that can create some kind of greater indecision, meaning like you're going to have to likely make some significant decisions this month. And there's this element of sort of taking your time and making sure that you understand the situation or, the perspectives of those involved before making a very like concrete decision, if that makes sense. Because I feel like there's going to be a lot of moving parts this month and you might not have all the information, but know that sort of whatever comes in this month or whatever it is that you are being asked to move through is very like karmically driven. So there is ultimately a greater lesson to be learned through your experiences this month. And it's not punitive. It's more about the greater growth or evolution of your own soul that you couldn't have without these more sort of lesson-filled experiences, right? So just kind of keep that in mind. If things feel a little bit, it could go either way. So if things feel a little bit more difficult this month, just know you're going to get through it. You're going to make it, to the other side. And when you get to the other side, you're going to have greater wisdom than you would have had you not gone through the experience. For some of you, again, this could be a time where things happen as if by magic, right? Things are very divinely guided. The karma that comes in for you is more rewarding, and you connect with someone who the lessons that they have to teach you feel very rewarding in a sense, right? Like you meet someone who loves you unconditionally, and so it teaches you or helps you to understand what that means and what that looks like and how to embody that energy and to return that gift. So it's kind of interesting. I mean, it can show up in a myriad of ways, and it's going to, it's going to depend on the lessons your soul signed up to learn at this time for you. It's very possible for some of you that you could meet someone very significant in your life at this time, or who will be very significant in your life at this time. A partner, a long-term partner, a spouse, something like that, a soulmate, someone with a very strong soul connection, meaning you'll recognize this person probably from having, been with them in a past life or something like that. So there'll be a very sense of the strong sense of familiarity. Also pets can come in at this time. So yeah, it's a really beautiful energy, but it's just, you're either closing something out that's karmic and you're going to see the rewards from that, or the wisdom come in full force from that, the clarity, or you're starting a new karmic cycle. And again, the people, places, things that come into your life at this time are likely going to be very, very significant in the months and years to come. So just kind of keep all of that in mind as you move through certain areas, certain things. It's also a financial vibration. So for some of you, you could see an uptick in your finances, new clients, inheritance, some kind of settlement come through that has, that brings in some kind of monetary reward or gift or something along those lines. It's very possible this month for you all. So yeah, really interesting energies here. Just kind of take your time, be gentle with yourself this month. And, on the positive side of this energy is, just expect the very best. Even if it's challenging to move through, expect the best, because even on the other side of challenging situations can be the best situations that we could have ever asked for, right? Having moved through it. So again, through what we learn and what we learn about ourselves and the people around us, et cetera, et cetera. And beautiful relationships can absolutely be formed now and bring in a tremendous amount of happiness and fulfillment. So keep that in mind. Now, I pulled an animal wisdom message for you all, and this actually aligns pretty well with this energy. You got coyote energy. And the first thing that kind of comes up with this is coyotes and traditional, spirituality and whatnot kind of are associated with deceit or trickery. And, I don't love that for the coyote, but, with this energy, I would just say, just be an observer this month. See who your friends are, see who your enemies are, and you likely will be shown that. So, when someone shows you who they are, trust them, I guess, right? They can always change, but who are they in this moment? How are they showing up in this moment? Do their words match their actions? And be, not overly cautious, but be cautious of partnerships or agreements that you sign onto. And just make sure you do your due diligence. Just make sure that your best interest is being taken into consideration. You might have to fight a little bit harder this month for your best interest to be taken into consideration, for your voice to be heard. And make sure that you do that. You are your own best advocate. So don't let someone else advocate for you because they're not going to do a good job. You're going to do a good job of that. So very powerful energy this month, sixes. I hope it's a good one. Take care. Bye for now. Life path number 7, you are going to be working with a vibration of the 27-9. So your own energy is in this vibration, of course, with the 7. So there's a very strong spiritual component this month for you all. And it's an interesting energy because when we're looking at the 9, which ultimately is what you're working with, this is a time for receptivity. This is a time for kind of stepping back and seeing what the universe sends your way this month. You've kind of already weaved your web. Now see what comes into it and then decide how you want to work with it. And because you have the 7 and the 9 together, again, the veil is very thin. The channel is wide open. So there's a lot of spiritual components to this. You could meet someone or several people who you feel a very strong connection with, where you might feel a strong sense of familiarity with. Maybe you've known this person across lifetimes. It could feel like that. But there's a really strong energy of divine guidance, and divine timing as well. So if there's some things that you've been really kind of pushing hard on or trying to force to make it happen, whether it's a relationship or a business or a career or whatever, This month, take your foot off the gas because you've done the work that you need to do. And now it's like you're turning it over to the universe to do its part, and it will do its part. And so again, the people, places, things that need to come in to either help you to see what's needed next or to help you to take whatever this is to the next level will present. But you can't force it, you can't manipulate it, you can't control it. So there's this level of, again, receptivity, slowing down, becoming the observer, seeing what is ready to come in for you. And then you can decide how to work with it. With the 9 cycle, there's also this opportunity for endings, for completion, for things to close out, especially if they're things that have served their purpose. So again, because there's this strong spiritual element, this could be a time where, during a 9 cycle, you could see someone exit, right? So like a grandparent or something like that could pass away at this time. But you'll also see the new beginning. So there will be a new beginning in your life, whether it's a new baby is being born or you get a new pet, right? There's a new beginning that will come and sort of, I don't want to say replace, right? Or take that energy, but what is removed from our plate, something else will come in. That void or that space is always filled with something. And during 9 cycles, this is a time usually where it's a release, it's a letting go. Everything is transient. Everything comes in and then leaves accordingly. We don't own anything. We don't attach to things. They come in, we experience them, and then we release them. And I think this could be a very strong cycle for you all at this time for that release, letting go of what you can't control, surrendering to what you can't control, letting go of things that have served their purpose, that are outdated, that have reached their expiration date. And I'm not saying you bypass the emotions tied to that. Feel them, right? Move through the grief if there's grief, or the sadness or whatever. But don't try to cling to it. Don't get stuck there. Don't let it overcome you so that you're not open to what presents next. Now, with the 7 energy here, which is your energy, there's this gift of being the bridge between the seen and the unseen. And also during 9 cycles, it's very possible that deep, deep, deep insights, inspirations, new ideas, intuitive hits could come in for you at this time that are very, very, very significant. So pay attention. If something comes in for you at this time that's an idea or an inspiration or whatever, write it down. You might not know what you're meant to do with it just yet, and you don't need to know right now, but write it down because it's very possible that it will play a significant role in your life in the future. And you'll want to have, want to have it written down. Now, you also have the vibration of the 2, so this brings in relationships, connecting with others. There's a lot of healing energy here, so you could be healing a relationship, healing a connection, healing your feelings about that connection. That could definitely come in at this time as well. The ability to see the divinity within the situation or that person or yourself, right? There's a lot of opportunities this month for you all for greater self-discovery, going deeper, getting to the root of something, healing it, or again, releasing it, whatever might show up for you. But there's definitely this opportunity to release any burdens, any heaviness, anything that needs to be released. And again, to not fight that release, because what is being released is opening you up to the next chapter, the next opportunity, the next path. So you want to make sure that you're ready to take that on when the opportunity presents, and it will present. For you all, it will likely be next month in December when you're in a 1 cycle. So, well, let me back up. Things might present this month. New opportunities could present this month for you all. And during a 9 cycle, it's not the time usually to initiate or to start something new. It's the time to gather, to plan, to decide how you're going to pursue the next chapter or the next whatever, your next goal. But this isn't the month to go all in and put in the effort at this time. Wait till next month if you can, right? Life will decide that for you. But if you can wait till next month is going to be a perfect opportunity to go for it, right? This is more of a time to rest and rejuvenate and contemplate and, just kind of the softer side of things. I pulled an animal wisdom message for you all, and you got moth energy. And again, it's very much aligned with this energy. Usually when we think of moth energy, we think of an ending, think something closing out, some kind of cycle completing. And that's very much 9 energy. There's some kind of cycle that is closing out at this time, making way for the new, right? And when moth energy comes through, one thing I usually say is, moths are attracted to the light. And I would say in your own life, where are you attracted to the light? And are you sure that it's natural light, like the light of the moon or something like that? Or is it artificial light or a light that will end up burning you, right? Like fire. So you just want to make sure that what presents to you this month, remember, you've weaved your web, so see what comes your way. Just make sure that it's for you, it feels right for you, that it's real, that it's true. And then it feels, like I said, it feels like the right thing for you and not artificial, or that you're trying to meet some kind of expectation or obligation in whatever it is. So yeah, beautiful energy here. I think it'll be a deep one. Take care. Bye for now. Life path number 8. So if you feel like you're raring to go and, biting at the bit to get those green lights to, move full steam ahead, you're very much aligned with the energy for this month. So you're going to be working with the vibration of the 28-1. And so last month you would have been in a 9 cycle. And when we move through a 9 cycle, it's usually a lot slower. It's softer. It's meant to be more receptive. Like we're not meant to force or push, or we're meant to see what comes in for us or what falls away, right? What closes out, making way for the new. And so this month, you're going to be working with that 1 energy, which is quite the opposite, right? This is about ambition. This is about, going for it, being assertive, taking action, putting in the effort, figuring out what you want, and then going for it, taking risks. This is about going all in, right? Thinking outside the box, having a vision and going towards that vision. This is about, again, like speaking up for yourself, finding your voice and using it. But really, ultimately, it's about taking action. It's about, it's not an idle energy. So where you might have felt a little bit like things were moving a bit slower last month, or you weren't seeing the results that you wanted to see, you absolutely could see those results this month. Not only that, but it's more about the ideas and the inspirations that might have come in for you last month. This is the month to take charge of that, to get started, right? If you created some kind of plan or was getting organized last month, figuring out what's next or how to reach your goals, this is the month to get started. So this month you could feel like all systems go. It's time to get started. It's time to put into action the plans that you might have created last month. But it can also bring in a sense of or a need for rash behavior and impulsivity. So you just want to be careful about being too impulsive. Make sure that you're keeping a good head on your shoulders. Make sure you're using good judgment when it comes to the things that you're initiating or the things that you're signing on to, or where you're putting your energy at this time. It is interesting because with the 28 energy, it brings in contradictions and potentially competition as well. Can bring in unusual events, unexpected events. And sometimes those events don't always go as planned. So you want to make sure that you are not so hyper-focused on your goals or whatever that you are missing out on what's actually happening around you. So just pay attention, because this is the kind of energy where you might have a goal in mind and you're working hard towards that goal and you're bringing in the people who can help you to achieve that, but you're not doing your due diligence to vet those people. And so you might be bringing in someone who wants what you have, or, is a competitor and is here to steal your, secret sauce. I don't know. And again, I don't say that to make you be overly cynical or overly cautious or whatever. Just take your time, right? This is definitely an action-oriented type of energy. And you can feel very motivated, very ambitious, very ready to get started and make it happen. but just make sure that you are staying level-headed and you're using good judgment. And that's what I would say throughout the month. Not just when you're following your goals, but when you're making important decisions about your life, the life of your friends, your family, whatever. Just make sure that you are, again, using good judgment, not being too rash, not being too reactive either. Pay attention to, again, what's actually happening in the moment, and not like what the stories that you're creating in your head might be telling you is actually happening, because you might see someone as a competitor who really does have your best interest at heart. So it's just that tricky kind of energy where there's a lot of heat. There's a lot of, this is like fire energy. So you just want to make sure that it's not combustible, but you're using it as the fuel and the resource that it's there for. So yeah, and just remember, when it comes to like competition, especially for 8s and 1 kind of energy, like especially for 8s, healthy competition is helpful. It helps you to see new ways of doing things. It helps you to, stay motivated and all those things. But it's when it turns unhealthy, and sometimes that's a fine line, that it can actually really sort of destroy whatever it is that you're trying to build. So whether it's in relationships or, again, career or something like that, if you're being competitive, just make sure that it's staying healthy and not deteriorating the connection or you, right, and your energy resources. So yeah. And again, I think this is a time where you might see some unexpected events pop up. And it doesn't mean that they're good or bad. It just means that you might have to pivot. You might have to, figure it out, sort of fly by the seat of your pants kind of energy this month. But again, while maintaining good judgment and making sure that the decisions, especially if they're concrete decisions that you're making this month, make sure that you feel solid before you commit to it, you sign the dotted line, whatever. Make sure it feels right for you. And not just oh, this opportunity came in, it looks perfect, it looks too good to be true, I'm signing on. Because the 1 energy can bring in that impulsivity, and it can also, again, with the 28, it can bring in that trickster kind of energy. So just do your due diligence, keep a good head on your shoulder, use good judgment, and it'll all work out just fine. But yeah, if it looks too good to be true, just do your due diligence. Maybe it is, or maybe it isn't. Maybe it's just something that's falling in your lap from the work that you've been doing. So yeah, just kind of, again, just use your good judgment. That's what I'll leave it at. I pulled an animal wisdom message for you, and you got antelope energy. And it's so funny because this is so perfect for 1 energy. So, antelopes, they are the fastest land animal in North America. And there's that kind of energy, that kind of antelope energy with 1 energy. So, again, you might have felt like things were moving too slowly, or you weren't seeing the results you wanted to last month. And then this month, it's like, again, you're just biting at the bit to break free and just go as fast as possible towards the goal line or whatever. And I would say that's great. And there's going to be so many opportunities, I think, for you to do that this month, but just pace yourself, right? It goes back to that energy of, don't let the energy be combustible. Use it as fuel to fuel your stride, but don't let it burn you out. So take ample time for rest and relaxation throughout the month. Even when it feels like you don't have time for it, try to make time for it, because you're going to need it. You're going to need those energy reserves to keep you going throughout the month. But I will say this is the month where you can make a lot of headway. You can really achieve a lot. You can, again, feel very motivated and ambitious, and you can satisfy that ambition this month, but just do it with a level head. So I hope it's a great one. Take care, 8s. Bye for now. Life path number 9, you are going to be working with a vibration of the 2911-2. So this is master level energy. And last month you would have been working with the 1 energy. So it was really all about you and your ambitions and your goals, and finding your motivation to go after your bigger goals, put yourself out there, take, be sort of in that leadership role, take action. But this month, throughout November, you're going to be moving through a 2 cycle. And so it's really about others, and not just others. It's about your connection to others and how you collaborate, how you work together. finding where there's disconnect and bridging that gap, right? Sort of becoming the observer within some of your relationships to see, where is there some disconnect? Where is it that there needs to be greater, like working together, finding common ground, having the conversations. This month has the opportunity to be actually quite healing for you and for the other person and for your connections. But you're going to have to, again, compromise, figure out where, you can kind of meet in the middle. And again, it's through having those conversations that you'll both understand where that is and what's necessary to make that happen. So definitely an opportunity to build greater bridges this month, to see, again, a greater perspective. But also, because that 11 energy is there, this is about what inspires you, what inspires, like what inspires your goals, what inspires your creativity, and what outlets are you allowing to that creativity to flow through. The 11 energy, when it comes in a cycle, is always pushing us towards that inspiration. And it's helping us to step away from, or start to step away from, or move away from the things that take that inspiration away, or that dampen our spirit, or that feel like they're not aligned. So there could be, and that could also be in relationships, right? Because we do have the vibration of the 2 and the 9, 29, sort of influencing this 11 energy. So 9 energy, when it comes in a cycle, is about completion, things ending or closing out, right? Not procrastinating, but tying up those loose ends, getting them off your plate, getting the projects off your plate, etc. But because it's in conjunction to the 2, it could be with relationships. So there could be endings or completions or things closing out with relationships that no longer are for the highest good of all involved, right? Because the 11 is in spirit, inspiration, right? So yeah, interesting energy here. But this month, I feel like the people, places, things that come into your viewpoint or into focus for you are going to be helper energy that's going to help you to move towards that greater inspiration, or to say yes more deeply to those things that inspire you or that feel good or put you in spirit. And you may also show up in the helper energy to help others do what inspires them, or maybe you inspire others. So there's a lot here for just showing up in spirit, basically, but doing it together, doing it with others. Again, where last month was the focus was more on you. It was about you and your goals and your ambitions. This month, it's about bringing that same energy, but into relationships and collaborations and connections, and to create something together, perhaps, that is inspiring, not only for you, but for others as well. This is an energy that can definitely bring in great business opportunities, great opportunities for greater financial gain or whatnot. This is a month where I would say partnerships could definitely come together and form some kind of greater agreement. So I would say be open to different ideas, be willing to accept and to help, where needed. And again, to not be too stubborn this month, but to be open to that collaboration, to be open to different ways of doing things or having a different approach. Because you might find that the people who enter your life at this time have ideas or have perspectives that you hadn't thought of. And that might sound a little bit sort of a little too outside the box for you to kind of get on board with. But I would say under this influence, just say yes and just explore, be curious and see where it takes you, because it could really open up a lot for you. It could really open up a lot for you. Not only you, but like your work, your creative outputs, etc. So this is kind of pushing you to invite in other perspectives, invite in collaborators. And if it's about relationships for you this month, like truly, if relationships come up for you this month quite heavily, then it's really about finding compromise, finding common ground, bringing peace and harmony into your connections, not sacrificing yourself or asking or requiring the other person to sacrifice themselves, but coming together in a harmonious way, in a way that all can agree with, right? So it's a really beautiful month, especially for 9s. Like this is a beautiful cycle where you could meet some very, very, very not only influential people, but people who can have a greater impact in your life for helping you to see maybe a better way, or again, opening you up to things that inspire you that you didn't even know were an option. So beautiful energy here. And it's interesting because I pulled an animal wisdom message for you all, and you got salmon energy. And so what came to mind here was like the salmon run, right? Where the salmon go back every year to where they were born to spawn. And the kind of the message that came through for you all is you already know the way, so trust yourself, right? There's something about instinct, there's something about intuition, and you're meant to follow that. Yes, you're meant to collaborate and connect with others, listen to new perspectives, try new things, not to be too stubborn or too cynical or whatever. But at the end of the day, it has to align with you. It has to feel right for you. You have to feel inspired by it, especially under this 11-2 energy or 29-11-2 energy. So with salmon energy coming through, it's that reminder that deep within you is a deeper knowing, right? And this is bigger than this month. This is like on this life journey. There's something within you, and we're going to call it the intuition, that is your compass. It's your guidepost. So follow it. You know it to be true. You just have to trust yourself or trust it. So there could be plenty of times this month where, you know, it might look like the path is taking you one way, but you might be called quite strongly to move in a different direction. And if you feel called and you're feeling that strong pull, I would say follow it, see where it takes you, because you know better than anyone what's right for you in this journey of life. And that's a gift from your soul to you. So trust it. I hope it's a great one, nines. Take care. Bye for now. Life Path 11-2. So you all are going to be working with the vibration of the 31 for November. This is a really interesting energy. Okay. When we have the 4, it's foundational. So it brings things back to your foundation. Where are the cracks, right? Where is it there that somewhere in your life it needs your attention? You need to put some tender love and care there. Or maybe you need to release something or ask for help or assistance, or maybe this is a good time to seek therapy or a numerology reading, or, you know, whatever that can help you to see where the cracks are, see what, you know, how to build that solid foundation. And, you know, that can be through healing, that can be through, you know, moving through your emotions or things that you haven't dealt with in a while. Usually when we move through a 4 cycle, it can be more sensitive. We often think of the 4 energy as very practical, which it is, and very pragmatic, which it is. But it's also helping us to get to the core of who we are and to acknowledge some of those deeper feelings that maybe we've suppressed. And so it really is this energy of kind of getting your house in order. And by your house, I mean your holistic self. So things could come to the surface this month that, again, feel very sensitive, feel like they might be touching on old wounds, feel like they're kind of getting in there and stirring things up that maybe you might wish that this energy would just leave alone. But if it's stirring it up, if it's bringing it to the surface, if it feels raw, if it feels like there's a wounding being touched, there's something to explore here. And so this is a beautiful month to do just that, right? And to seek out the support or the people who can help you to do that. It's not like you're meant to do it alone. I mean, you're the one who's going to have to do the work, right? But you can certainly get support in that process. So there's the potential for that, right? Where again, there's this deeper look at what still needs healing, what still needs to be addressed, what needs your attention at this time. Now, that can be quite literal when it comes to your home. When we're talking about 4 cycles, can be the physical structure of your home. So you might be doing some remodeling. You might be, maybe you have a leaky roof. And anytime you move through a 4 cycle, anything that is brought to your attention that needs to be addressed needs to be addressed. So don't try to sweep it under the carpet, because that leaky roof that's just a drop here and there can turn into your roof collapsing down the road, right? When we're talking about 4 energy. So it's that energy that says, you know, get serious, get focused, take care of what needs taking care of now. This is a kind of a checkpoint energy anytime you move through a 4 cycle, especially a 31-4 cycle. 31 energy will bring sort of the obstacles, the challenges that will slow you down so that you can pay attention to the details, pay attention to what matters in this moment, and take your focus more off of the bigger picture or the future and come back to the present and see what you're working with, pay attention to the details, and then fix what needs fixing, address what needs addressing. And that's going to help you to build that solid foundation, right? So obstacles at this point are not necessarily telling you something's not for you or you need to, move in a different direction. It's saying something needs your attention right now. You don't need to be moving forward. You don't need to be putting putting the pedal to the metal, trying to force movement. This is a time for standing still, potentially, right? And looking at the here and now and seeing what needs your attention. And so those speed bumps or those obstacles are just slowing you down, right? They're just helping you to pay attention to what needs your attention at this time. This is also a cycle that, for some, it might feel like it's a little isolating, again, because there's probably going to be things that you will likely have to be moving through, and it can feel, again, a little sensitive. So you just want to be careful about picking fights or being too reactionary, because that reactionary energy can create that isolation or that sense of loneliness. Pay attention to your pride. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to be right all the time. Someone might have a better perspective at this time. And so it's worth it to listen because, again, remember, kind of the focus this month for you all is making sure that that foundation is solid. And where it's not, what do we have to do to clean it up to make it solid? It can be with relationships, your career, again, with the physical structure of your home. And again, if you're doing some kind of remodeling or something like that, don't cut corners. Don't try to rush the process because you will have buyer's remorse. You will regret it. You'll have to come back and do it right all over again. And you'll likely have to start all over again. When we're talking about 4 energy, it's very methodical. It's step by step. It wants you to take your time. Patience is key. So don't try to rush things because you'll be really sad that you did. And again, just be careful about being too reactionary. This month could feel very sensitive. It could feel very, very raw. And you just want to make sure that you're not taking that out on those who are trying to help you or support you in some way. Legal matters might need your attention at this time. If you've had long pending kind of lawsuits, you could see those be settled at this time under this vibration. Contracts, legal agreements, make sure that you're sort of approaching those with a level head, right? Be calm and do your due diligence, read through the fine print, all of that. Make sure you're being taken care of, but make sure that, everything looks good. And I would say get a second set of eyes on it from a professional. Cooperation, also practicality, and also honesty are super essential during this time. Don't let your pride or sort of the need to be right, kind of come in and sabotage situations that don't need to be sabotaged. And yeah, I think I'll leave it at that because this is just one of those energies where, again, it's checkpoint energy. You might see things slow down drastically this month. And it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong or you've got to try harder or push harder. No, the 4 energy is saying slow down, look around you, see what needs your attention and give it that attention. So whatever that might be. And I pulled an animal wisdom message for you all, and you got snake energy. And so again, with snake energy, healing can be a central theme for that. And this feels like healing to your core, right? It's not so much about healing relationships or healing anything external to you. It's that healing of you, of holistic you, of your sense of self, of your core, usually tied to emotions. Also, there's this energy of regeneration and starting over. And you do have 1 energy in this equation, 31-4. So there is this energy of shedding the old skin that's no longer serving you and letting it go. You don't have to carry it with you and try to make it fit. It doesn't fit anymore. You've outgrown it. So don't be afraid of moving forward in that way. Know when to shift gears, know when to release. And this month can help you to see where it is time to release something that you've outgrown or that's no longer for you. And it can be done in a really healthy way. So, so I'm going to leave it there, but I hope it's a great one, 11s. Take care. Bye for now. Life Path 22-4. So we're going to be working with the vibration of the 42-6 for November. And this is an interesting energy because it brings in the element of community. And that can be your place in the community. Like maybe your work is being more seen, you're getting more clients, you're have a stronger presence within your personal community. You could see your work kind of, again, because you're a 22-4, you could see your work spread across many communities and creating a greater sense of community through your work. That's very, very possible at this time. So you may see people, places, things come in at this time that help you to do that. And I would say you'll likely have to overcome some self-doubt, overcome any fears that you might have about, again, being seen, being successful, again, your work being shared in a way that puts you in the spotlight. A lot of times we feel like, yeah, that's what we want. We want to be successful. We want our work to be seen and to be experienced and all those things. But sometimes as we grow, we tend to, those fears creep in, or the feelings of unworthiness or whatever. And so that's very possible during this month, through this energy. So just keep in mind, if those opportunities do present for either you to be sort of on a grander stage or your work to be on a grander stage, just, work through the emotions or the feelings or the belief systems that might be in place already in your mind that come up for you, and find your way through that, because this is the gig. Like 22-4 is the master builder. It's meant to build something that can be seen and experienced and felt by a larger population, whether that's during your lifetime or this, from the seeds that you sow while you're here, and then future generations get to experience that. So November could be a really significant month for that. Or at least things coming in that can help you to see how your contributions could make a difference and what you need to do in order to sort of solidify that in some way. And it will likely have to do with collaboration, like working with others, that sort of thing, sharing ideas, finding a common meeting ground. So, this month I would say if any kind of like contracts or agreements or partnerships come your way, this would be a time to sit down, look at the fine print, have the discussions, have those conversations before you sign the dotted line. But this is more about finding those ways to collaborate. So, don't be too nitpicky. Don't be too rigid when it comes to your demands around these contracts if they do come in, because you want to make sure that you're compromising, that you're meeting people halfway. You want to be cooperative as much as possible, because these people, places, things will help you to think outside the box, which sometimes as 22-4s and 4s, we tend to struggle with sometimes, especially if we don't have like any 5s or any kind of more like freedom thinking or open-minded or, progressive or unconventional energy in our charts. So this could be a really important month for, just finding new ways of doing things through cooperation. This is also a love vibration. And so you could see people enter your life at this time who feel very solid, but also who feel like you kind of known them for a period of time or across lifetimes or something like that, right? This is a very solid love vibration. So you could take a relationship to the next level this month. You could go deeper within a connection that you're currently in, or you could meet someone who brings stability and structure and a feeling of safety into your life. So that can be friend, pet. It can also be a romantic partnership, something like that. That's very, very possible this month. So again, stay open. And it could be, again, through the sort of the places you're visiting, the networks you're kind of a part of, that you meet this person or these people. If you're getting engaged, married, having children, adopting, beautiful energy for that. This is those kind of connections that are usually in our lives for quite some time, because we have that vibration of the 4 in the equation, right? 42-6. So there's that staying power there. There's that strong commitment type of energy. So that's very possible this month as well. I would say the key words this month are love and cooperation. So, you'll likely encounter situations where these qualities, these experiences will be had. And so I would say don't allow rigidity, misunderstandings to lead to separations. Find your way through it and seek that peace through understanding. And then you'll benefit from any contacts that you make this month. Very, very powerful, beautiful energy for this month. Now, I pulled an animal wisdom message for you all, and you got otter energy. And so it just reminds me of otters are so playful. Like they can be serious, but they're so playful. Even when they're working, they're having fun. So I think that's just a message, and a beautiful message for us 22-4s, that, work is a oftentimes, or like, again, how we contribute, our gifts, that sort of thing, can be kind of a central focus in our lives. And otter just reminds us to not, take things too serious, work against being that perfectionist, loosen the grip, have fun, let your hair down, don't take things too serious. Let things play out and see how they turn out, and you'll know what you're working with. So just a reminder to have fun through, anything else that kind of comes up, because this could be a busy month for work, or again, your place in the world, how you contribute, your gifts, that sort of thing. And you just don't want to lose sight of the joy, the fun, the silliness. Just have a good time while you're at it. So I hope it's a good one. Take care, 22s. Bye for now. Life Path 33-6. You all are going to be working with a vibration of the 53-8 for November. And I would say this is a really interesting energy, but I feel like 33s, you're always working with interesting energies. So for this month, this vibration of the 53-8, it can bring in very sudden events that require a lot of courage to sift through. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of energy here of, again, deciphering between what's true and what's not true. And when I say that, I mean what's true for you and your experience. Because what's true for one may not be true for another. So we can't sort of gauge, again, what's true for ourselves based on what everyone is telling us is the truth of something, right? Even in science, it's always fascinating, right? Because even in science, it's fact until it's not fact anymore. I mean, there's certain things, right, that continue to replicate and, stay true to form. But, that's just the nature of life, is we know what we know until we know more. And then maybe something stays true and maybe something doesn't. So my point of saying all this is a cycle for you all to kind of pull back a little bit from the narrative of what maybe society or your parents or your friends or whoever is telling you is right for you, is true for you, is the path for you, is how you should think, feel, act. And this is an opportunity to kind of go more deeply inwards to discover your own personal truth. And then not only discover that personal truth, but weed out what does not align for you, what doesn't feel right for you. Also, in your connections, in your experiences with the external world, some things are going to feel good for you and some things are not. Some things are going to feel right for you and some things are going to feel off. And so it's an opportunity this month to sort of be the observer for a bit and to dig a little bit deeper in understanding that, because ultimately, our truth should drive our action, because that's where, we're going to be sharing our gifts the greatest. That's where people are going to get the most out of us, right? Of that, our experience of, again, like us sharing our gifts. and get to know the true who we are. And anytime that we kind of hide behind a falsehood, people aren't getting the real us. They're not getting our gifts. They're not getting to experience who we truly are. So it's kind of like taking the mask off this month. And that can be really, really uncomfortable. But it's an opportunity, like I said, to really, truly embrace the truth of who you are. Aside from that, you could very well have experiences where someone is trying to tell you something is true, but it doesn't feel true. And those are the experiences where I would say go deeper, because you might determine or figure out that something is not for you, again, because of how it feels for you. And again, that doesn't mean it's not true for someone else. This is an experience or a cycle for, again, figuring out what is true for you. And so you might find this month that sudden events bring that truth to light. So something could just kind of go out of, or come into or go out of your life quite rapidly. And it can feel kind of intense, but that experience is, again, helping you to see what is for you and what is no longer for you, what served its purpose and what now is time to release. What is still, meant to be an important part of your life and to continue to teach you things about yourself, et cetera, et cetera. So it's kind of this energy of, I don't want to say like cleaning house, but clarity and deeper understanding. And that deeper understanding can help you to decide what's next for you or what you want in this moment and how to move in that direction. I would definitely say to keep your emotions, in check. Be careful of reactivity. Come back to neutral. Find that pause button so that you can not react and that you're more able to respond when you feel ready. Because again, this month could be a little bit sensitive. It could feel a little chaotic. It could feel a little abrupt at times, with some of the shifting sands that might be coming in for you. Because remember, you do have that 5 energy there, 53-8. So shifts are going to be likely and abrupt and can feel a little disorienting. And so I would say go with the flow, be adaptable, and see what the energy is trying to show you. Because again, some of the situations that might come up quickly or suddenly could feel a little bit challenging. So take your time as you move through them. Pull from your strength, your courage. It's in there. You're a 33. And you'll figure out how to handle them and how to move through them. And also what it's trying to show you, like the wisdom it's trying to give you. Business, finance, and the law could be involved this month. So if there are any legal proceedings or anything that needs your attention, or any kind of settlements that you've been waiting on, you could see that come to fruition this month. It could work in your favor, but even if it doesn't, and I'm doing air quotes as I say that, even if it doesn't, sort of meet your expectations, there will likely be relief. Like there will be that sense of relief that there's a settlement, it's over, you can move on. You know what I mean? So I do feel like there will be some satisfaction there, even if it's not exactly as you kind of wanted it to be. And again, with whatever kind of comes your way this month, again, try to get yourself back to neutral. Don't be reactive. Choose wisely with whatever you encounter, like however you want to handle it, and come back to reason and use that reason to, again, decipher between what's true, what's not, what are the facts, what are sort of the falsehoods that kind of need to be sifted through. And then you can find your way through any problem, any challenge that might present this month. And again, if it feels off, it probably is. And just investigate and you'll understand why it feels off. Don't be quick to jump to conclusions. Don't be quick to jump to making decisions off of just strictly what's being presented to you. And I think one of the bigger themes this month for you all is just that reminder that challenges, obstacles, what feels like troubling it comes and goes. It's part of that ebb and flow of life. So if things feel difficult now, just know that tide is going to shift, and that it will work itself out. You'll probably have to be a part of that process, but it will work itself out, and you'll be on the other side of it soon enough. So don't get caught up in frustration or feeling overwhelmed, because that will just keep you stuck there. Find your way through it and follow your inner knowing, because that's always going to bring you to the truth of your situation, of your experience, of you. Now, I pulled an animal wisdom message for you all, and you got chipmunk energy. And it's interesting because, with chipmunk and with squirrel energy, it's, in the fall, especially, well, throughout the year, but really like in the fall, they're like hyper focused on sort of gathering their food for the long winter, right? By storing supplies. And, sometimes they forget where they hid it, but that it's still being put to good use because it creates a tree, right? But in their quest for, storing away the food, they have to be discerning between what's useful and what's not useful, what's useless, right? What's going to serve them. Like leaves might serve them, but probably not for nutrients. So it's in their best interest to store more nuts. So the point being, this is a period, this month, for you all to figure out what's going to serve you, not just now, but like for months to come or years to come or whatever, long term, and what is no longer serving you, or what isn't, what hasn't been serving you, and what do you need to kind of shift your focus from. And I would also say, this is just a reminder also that there's no effort that's too great or no obstacle too severe to overcome. We always find a way, right? And the way that we usually find a way of doing that, or find the way of doing that, is dividing the truth from the falsehoods. So yeah, with chipmunk energy coming through, there's just like, again, just that kind of added reminder that you want to make sure that where you're putting your energy, where you're investing your time, is serving you and serving you for the long term, and not just for instant gratification or, just because you're doing it out of obligation or whatever. So just pay attention to how you're using your energy. And I would also say, when I think of chipmunks, they are so manipulative in a way. Like they're real cute, and they use that cuteness to try to get food from tourists and from hikers here in Colorado anyway. And so it just kind of reminded me of like, I'm not saying be manipulative, of course, but I'm saying use your gifts, use your charisma, use your personality to get what you need, to get what you want, right? Again, not in a manipulative way, but in a way where you are shining your light so people will gravitate towards you. And usually when people gravitate towards you, they will help you in some way. So yeah, just putting that out there. So interesting month for you all, 33s, but again, when is it not? All right, take care. Bye for now. Life Path 44-8. So you're going to be working with a vibration of the 64-1 for this month, November. This is a powerful cycle. And so, it's ultimately a one energy, but you have this very, very powerful influencing energy of the 64 here. But the one energy puts the focus on you. So there's this opportunity this month to be more assertive, to go after your dreams and goals, to figure out what those are, but really to take up more space, to recognize your worth, to feel empowered, to find your voice and then use it, to take action. This is not an idle kind of energy. This is an energy that's saying you must be the leader within your own life. Nobody can do it for you. Whatever it is that you want to achieve, whatever it is that you want to experience, nobody can create that for you. You are at the helm of the ship. And anytime we move through one cycle, it reminds us of that through our experiences. And it's very easy to fall into victimhood during that cycle, because it can feel like so much is being put on our shoulders. But really what the energy is trying to show us is that we are responsible for the direction of our own life. We are responsible for creating the experience that we want to see or again, have. And we can't wait around for someone else to do it for us. We can't wait around for someone to swoop in and make it easier or make it right or whatever. We have to pick up the reins and take charge. So sometimes that can be challenging to move through if we are waiting for someone to bring us love or happiness or joy or fulfillment. No, we have to create that within our own lives and surround ourselves with people, places, things that help to enhance that, right? But if we don't pick up the reins and we allow someone else to be the driver, then we're going to get whatever experience they throw our way. And then we don't really have a sort of the ability to complain about it because we didn't play a part in it. We sort of turn the keys over, so to speak. So this month for you all is about taking responsibility and, again, becoming that leader within your own life. And I'm not saying you're not doing that, but what I'm saying is this energy is going to confront you with where it is that maybe you need to do that more. Or again, take responsibility for the things that you don't like in your experience and how can you go about changing them, because it doesn't happen without you. This can also bring in some tests that will, again, help you to see where it is that you need to take greater responsibility within the course of your own life. And that doesn't mean you do it without support. That doesn't mean that you do it alone. It just means at the end of the day, you're in the driver's seat. You haven't given the keys over to someone else to drive your life, right? Or your experience. So it can bring in this profound awareness, greater clarity, and greater understanding when it comes to what is needed within your own experience in order to create the experience that you want to see. So this is a perfect time to really work towards developing your inner awareness, really working with such things as like your intuition or that gut feeling or that inner knowing. And you can do that, through any kind of metaphysical discipline or tool like meditation or yoga or tarot or numerology or whatever, right? That can help you to understand yourself better and gain that awareness about what's needed next. And also through that process, right? Through any kind of more spiritual pursuit, we start to understand or remember that change is a constant cycle in the universe. Change is a constant cycle in the universe. Everything is transient. Everything is cyclical. Everything changes. And so all things, must go through death, transformation, rebirth. That's just the nature of things. And so attaching to things too strongly or too tightly gets us tripped up, right? Gets us stuck. Because then when those things fall away, we fall into victimhood. We fall into blaming or assuming that someone has done something to us or the universe is punitive or whatever. So this cycle of the 64-1 helps you to detach yourself from the experiences in your life, from the material aspects of your life, not to like the point where you're like, you're just going to live in the mountain by yourself and not have any contact or belongings or whatever. That's not what this energy is saying. It's just saying you begin to understand that people, places, things come and go. That's the nature of life, and there doesn't need to be any animosity or vindictiveness or vengeance or vitriol attached to it. People come and people go. Things come and they go. And so that's part of the experience, is experiencing people, places, things, and then releasing them when it's time for them to move on and do their thing, on their journey. And so this could be a cycle this month that, again, is just that reminder. And it can help you to detach from those things that you might be overly attached to at this time, right? And it's through that process that we acquire the greater wisdom. And that greater wisdom, remember, y'all are the wisdom keepers. So it's with that greater wisdom that you all are able to persevere towards your goals. So I would say this month, just remember, you can be your own worst enemy if you let sort of sudden burdens or challenges or disappointments defeat you or derail you in some way. You've got to find your way through it. You've got to pick yourself back up and keep going, because there is light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not a train. And so there can definitely be some trials and tribulations under this vibration, but remember, it's reminding you that you can handle them, that you can be the one who creates sort of the path of your own destiny. And not even sort of, you are the one who creates that path. And this cycle can help you to discover what that path really looks like. And then you can figure out what steps to take. And you also might find with this vibration, because you do have the vibration of the 6 here, you're not meant to do it alone. You're just meant to be in the driver's seat, right? So don't give the keys away. Doesn't mean that someone can't ride with you and support you. Just means you're not meant to give those keys away. So I pulled an animal wisdom message for you, and you got eel energy, electric eel energy. And it's interesting because it brings up this like need for safety. And if you think about like the electric eel, oftentimes they hide away. And, if they feel like they're being attacked or they feel like they need to defend themselves, they shock. And it's just kind of interesting because I would say, there are going to be times where that you need to do that, but just be careful about overly doing that, right? Like seeing the whole world as your enemy, or seeing everyone out to get you, or believing the stories in your mind over the reality of the situation. And find ways to be not only graceful, but more gentle with yourself and with others, and not too reactionary, right? Have those healthy standards, but don't be too quick to shock people or things, right? Out of fear. Make sure that, if you're putting up those boundaries or you're putting up those defenses, that they're necessary, they're needed. And they're not going to be necessary and needed with everyone or everything. So again, use discernment and sort of deconstruct any fear that might be driving that defensiveness. So, and remind yourself, you're safe. You create your safe environment, and it doesn't have to be through building walls. So big energy this month, 44 is nothing you can't handle though. I hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now.